Taehyung dropped you and Minso to his friend's apartment. He bought some food for you, though you denied to eat anything, but he forcefully made you eat something. After making sure you and Minso were comfortable there, he came back to your house. He was very angry with Jimin. He directly went to his bedroom where he was sleeping peacefully, unaware of the storm in his life. Taehyung went in the bathroom and brought a bucket full of water. Without thinking twice, he emptied the whole bucket on Jimin. Jimin jolted up with a sudden coldness and sat up on the bed with a jerk. He looked at himself and then looked around to find the cause of this state. He spotted a very furious Taeyong standing beside him with an empty bucket in his hand. What the hell is this, Taeyong? Exactly, what the hell is this, Jimin? Taeyong gritted his teeth, asking him, throwing the bucket across the room. What's with this attitude? And why are you so angry? The reason behind everything is you, Park Jimin. Me? What did I do? Ask yourself, what did you do and what are you doing? Don't twist the things and be straight with what you want to say. You want me to be straight? Okay, tell me one thing, where is Wine and Minsu? Jimin frowned his eyebrows in confusion. What do you mean? They must be here, either in the living room or in Minsu's room. No, they aren't here. Please, Taeyong. I'm not in the mood of joke. I am not joking, you idiot. They left. Wyan left and took Minsu with her. Jimin's whole world collapsed. His heart dropped into his stomach. His body felt numb. It took him some time to actually process what Taeyong just said. No, Taeyong, stop playing around. This isn't a joke. Now he was standing on his feet facing Taeyong. Taeyong chuckled sarcastically before saying, Isn't it what you wanted? Now you can drink as much as you want. There's no one to stop you. Do whatever you want. You should be happy. No, you are lying. My Ryan can't leave me. Ryan, you, he ran out of his room shouting your name. He searched every corner of his house, but he only met with silence. He came back in his room. Found them? Where are they? Why didn't you stop them? He asked while tears were running down his face. Do you know why I am here? Jimin just looked at him with a blank face, crying silently. Do you know your son was sick from past 4 days? Taeyong raised his eyebrow while Jimin looked down. Really, Jimin? I never thought you would turn out like this. Minsu was sick from past 4 days. Wan was taking care of him. He was recovering too, but today afternoon he went unconscious. He wasn't waking up. Jimin's eyes widened hearing this. Wine tried to wake you up, but you were busy in sleeping. Then she called me and we took him to the hospital. Wine didn't want to stay here, so she left with Minsu. Why would she stay when you failed to be a responsible man for your family when they needed you the most? And how would I stop her? What would I say when I myself is very disappointed with you? Didn't I tell you to stop this addiction of yours? But everyone is fool for you. Now bear with it. He closed his eyes to control his frustration and looked out of the window. You are seeing this darkness outside. I'm sorry to say, but that's how your life is, and you yourself are responsible for bringing it in your life. I warned you so many times, but you didn't listen to me. Instead, you started drinking in the morning also. I was stressed with work, and yesterday I lost my job. These are not the justification for your deeds, man. You are not the only one working in this world, and drinking ain't the solution for it. Sometimes it's okay, but you got addicted, Jimin. If you were stressed, you could have talked to Voyan or me like we used to do. The things you do aren't acceptable. I could have done the same if I was at Voyan's place. Jimin sat on the bed. His face was buried in his palms. Loud sobs left his mouth. The pain of losing his loved ones was unbearable. It felt like his heart was ripping apart. Taeyong's eyes became glossy looking at his friend's state. His both best friends were suffering, and it was hurting him. He was angry with Jimin, but he didn't want his happy family to break. He had something in his mind to ensure your both happiness. He went and sat beside him. He placed his hand on his shoulder. Jimmy looked at him with his tear-stained face. I love her, Dee. I love her and my son a lot. I don't know what's gotten into me, but I never stopped loving them. Please help me, Taehyung. I can't live without them. Die without them. Taehyung hugged him. Jimin was sobbing loudly on his shoulder. After some time, he calmed down. Taehyung leaned back from the hug and Jimin stood up. I am going, Taehyung. I am going to find them and bring them back. He was about to walk away but stopped when Taehyung said, what will you say to bring her back? And do you think Wine will come back? Jimin turned towards him when he stood up in front of him. You know Wine more than anyone. You know she won't come back. Jimin, try to understand. She wants her old husband, not this alcohol, Jimin. First, leave this addiction and then Wine will come back to you happily. I know it will take time, but this time break is necessary for your relationship. Trust your love and work for it. Until then, I'll help you in finding them. Jimin's eyes again became glossy and he hugged him. Thank you so much, Taehyung. I am so blessed to have a friend like you. Taehyung's thoughts. I'm sorry, Jimin, for lying to you, but for now, it's the best for you and Ryan also. He pulled back from the hug and smiled at him. Now stop crying and eat something. I brought food for you. And about job, you can try at my workplace. There is job available. Jimin nodded, finally smiling a little. But Taehyung, Ryan and Minsu, are they safe? And Minsu, he was sick. Minsu was fine, Jimin, and they will be safe wherever they are. From that day, Jimin stopped drinking completely. Though it wasn't easy for him, but with Taeyong by his side, he was slowly overcoming it. But as he was badly addicted to it, that's why the withdrawal symptoms started to kick in. His health was deteriorated day by day. He was hospitalized. Taeyong was there all the time taking care of him. After a month of continuous treatment, he was finally good, but his body was still weak. Alcohol was like termites. It was eating up his body from inside. After discharging from the hospital, Jimin applied at Taeyong's workplace and got selected. He started working with him. Now it was more easy for Taeyong to take care of his diet and medicines. He was recovering physically, but the pain of separation from his family was still fresh. He was smiling from outside, but only the walls of his bedroom was aware of his painful cries and sleepless nights. On the other side, your condition was no different from him. The only difference was that you knew all about him, but he was unaware of you. Your younger sister Sana, who is also Taeyong's wife, used to visit you on daily basis. Taeyong also sometimes came to see you, but he was mostly with Jimin. When he informed you about Jimin's conditions, you were ready to run back to him, but Taeyong stopped you. You went to see him daily, but you only saw him from outside or sometimes from close when he was sleeping. You cooked for him daily, which Taeyong fed him. Your heart clenched seeing him in this weak condition. You wanted to embrace him tightly and took away all his pains, but it was better to be cured now till it got more worse. That was not the only problem for you. The biggest problem was Minsu. It was very hard to make him understand about your sudden change of house and about absence of Jimin. You somehow made him understand that he went for some business purpose and he will be back soon, but from last few days he has been bugging you a lot about his father. Recently, you were cooking lunch while Minsu was clinging on your leg, bombarding you with his non-stop questions. Amma, when will Appa come? I want to talk to him and I want to play with him. Amma, please tell me. He was tugging on your pants while whining continuously. You were already dealing with your life problems, and his whining was adding fuel to your anger, which you were trying to control. Amma, why aren't you speaking? He once again tugged on your pants, and it was a last straw before you lose your control. Enough. I told you he went due to some work issues. Can't you understand? Why are you being a bad boy and troubling me? Poor boy flinched at your sudden outburst and ran away from there crying. Tears were already falling from your eyes when you finally sensed what you did with your little pain. What was even his fault? He was only asking about his father. You wanted to go behind him, but before that, you needed to calm yourself. You poured water in a glass and gulped down in one shot. You wiped your tears and took a deep breath before going to bedroom. You came inside only to find him covered him fully with blanket. You could hear his sobs and it pierced your heart knowing you are the reason for it. You slowly sat beside him and you could see him clutching the blanket more tightly. You tried to remove the blanket, but he only tightens his grip more. After some attempts, you finally removed the blanket from him, and now you wanted to slap yourself, seeing his tear stained cheek, red and glossy eyes, and red nose. Minsu, his name came out of your mouth as a whisper. He glanced at you with his teary eyes before turning away from you. Tears pooled in your eyes. You nibbled your lower lip to suppress your sobs. You took a deep breath and laid beside him, spooning him in your arms. Amma is really bad. She scolded her little Mochi. She is bad, right? He sobbed before turning around and snuggled in your chest, hugging you with his little arms. He cried in your arms. You smiled and hugged him tightly, kissing his head. Amma is really sorry, baby. I didn't mean to shout at you. I'm so sorry. I told you that your appa went out for work. I got angry when you asked me about him again and again. Till now he was finally calm and listening to you silently. He looked up, meeting your eyes, and said, I miss him, Amma. You smiled and kissed his forehead. Me too. I miss him a lot. Let's pray that he comes back soon. You said, looking at the ceiling when few tears left your eyes. I'm sorry, Amma, for being a bad boy. Okay, no more sorry and crying. Let's go and eat. I made your favorites. You picked him up and went towards the kitchen. You were watching TV with an uninterested mood. Taehyung came in the morning and took Minsu with him for an outing. They wanted to take you also, but you weren't in the mood, so you decided to stay home. You felt hungry, so you went to kitchen to find something to eat, but you were out of groceries. So you decided to go out and buy the necessities. Since today's weather was good too, so you decided to take a walk till the store. You walked through the streets, enjoying the peaceful weather. You spotted a teenage couple giggling and walking hand in hand. You smiled seeing them, and your mind went towards your husband. You were missing him too much since the morning, and every other thing was reminding you of him. You sighed, walking fastly towards the store. After you walked almost 15 minutes, you finally reached there. You bought every necessary item, and you were in snacks section. You picked some packets when you noticed Jimin's favorite snacks. You sadly smiled before grabbing them and put in the cart. After paying for the things, you went to your apartment. You came back home and plopped yourself on the couch in the living room. Your stomach growled due to hunger, and you decided to eat something first. You rummaged through the items before grabbing his favorite snacks. You smiled, remembering how he used to fight with Taehyung for these snacks, how childish they were during their high school. He matured to be the best man for you. He was ready to sacrifice any you and Minsu. Unknowingly, tears started falling from your eyes. I am missing you so much. Please come soon. Your chains of thoughts broke with the ringing of doorbell. You wiped your tears before going to open the door. Opening the door, you find him standing there, whom you were yearning for. You froze on your spot, staring directly at his eyes. You couldn't believe that he was actually there standing in front of you. Ryan, your name came out as a whisper from his mouth. You jumped on him, sobbing in his arms. Your hands were wrapped around his neck, while legs were wrapped around his torso. Your sudden action made him stumble backward. He held you securely in his arms while you were pouring out your pain through tears. Your face was buried in his neck. He brought you inside the living room before settling himself on the couch with you on his lap. He was crying along with you. You leaned back from the hug and cupped his face with your trembling hands. He closed his eyes, feeling your touch. You touched his forehead with yours, looking at his face. His face was weak and pale, but he was still managed to look ethereal than ever. You are really here? He nodded, finally opening his eyes, staring back at you with the same love. What took you so long to come back? Don't you know how much I miss you? He leaned back a little to have a proper view of your face. I saw you at the convenience store and couldn't control myself, so I ended up here. 2 months, Jimin. Took you so long. You were there with me at the hospital, but you didn't meet me face to face. I thought you didn't want me anymore. You knew about it? Yes, I wasn't sleeping when you used to meet me. I asked Taehyung about you many times, but he always avoided my question. He knew about your whereabouts. I thought you told him not to tell me. I thought I lost you, and you don't you cut him off by placing your finger on your lips. Dare to complete the sentence, and I'll punch you this handsome face of yours. He smiled slightly, admiring you. You always assume things on your own. How can you even think that I don't love you? I love you more than anything in this world. My stupid heart fell for you, and it kept falling more and more. I made a tough decision of leaving you for your own good, but I never stopped loving you. Don't you dare to even think like this again. I want my Mimi back, and I have to do that for it. I never intended to hurt you or made you feel unloved. I'm sorry, Ryan, for whatever I did. I swear I won't do it again. Please come back. Please give me a chance. The house is not home anymore. It felt empty. It has memories of you at every corner, but you were missing. Nothing felt complete without you. My soul is incomplete without you. Tears were non-stop falling from your both eyes. I was waiting to hear this from you. I'll give you a chance, but please don't hurt me this time. It hurts. It hurts really bad to be away from you. I'm sorry. I promise I won't do that again. Never. I'll be your best husband and a best father for Minsu. If you anyhow hurt me again, I swear I'll leave you with my both kids. He giggled through tears until realization hit him. Both kids? You smiled before answering. Yes, both kids. I'm pregnant. You are going to be father again. It was too much information for him. He didn't know how to react. He opened his mouth to say something, but nothing came out, so he decided to speak. I'm almost 3 months pregnant. I found out on the day when we took Minsu to the hospital. When did we? You were drunk, Jimin, so you probably don't remember anything about that night. You were expecting a good reaction from him, but he was silent, only crying. He held your hand and kissed it before saying, Wine, please be honest. Did I mean, that night, did I force you? You widened your eyes at this statement. No, 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 Mimi, you can never do that. Whatever happens was with our Don't think so low of you. Let's just stop crying and forget everything that happened in the past and start fresh, okay? You said while wiping his tears while he nodded with a smile. So again, Mimi, I'm pregnant. You are going to be father again. You said with a cheerful voice. He smiled and picked you up, spinning you around. You laughed, making him laugh along. Okay, okay, stop. He stopped and placed you down, pecking your whole face. You giggled at the ticklish feeling. He looked at you with his loving gaze and said, Thank you, Van. Thank you so much. He brought his lips to your forehead before placing them for a long peck. Thousands of kisses are nothing in front of a forehead kiss. A kiss that gave you euphoric feeling. A kiss that make you feel safe. A kiss that gave you a feeling of home. Your home. He pulled back and looked at you with a smile. That's why you look more beautiful. Pregnancy glow, hmm? You can never stop flirting, can you? Can't I when I have the most beautiful creation of Almighty? Stop! You whined with red cheeks while he chuckled at you before pulling you in his arms. Your hands wrapped around his torso and head resting on his chest. His hands wrapped around your waist and chin resting upon your head. Now that's what we call a perfect moment. But someone has to break this perfect moment. Appa, you both broke the hug and looked towards the source of voice. There stood Taehyung carrying Minso on one arm and Mishi, his daughter, on other arm, and Sana beside them. He wiggled out of Taehyung's arms and ran towards his father. Jimin kneeled down and picked him up in his arms and kissed his forehead lovingly. You smiled at the father-son duo. Mishi also wiggled out of Taehyung's arms and before running towards you. She was 2 years younger than Minsu. She raised her hands towards you. You happily picked her up and kissed her red cheeks and she hid in your embrace giggling cutely. That's when you heard Minshu talking to his father. He cupped his cheeks with his little hands and said with a pout on his face, Appa, I miss you so much. I missed you too. You know, Amma was troubling me a lot. She ain't being a good girl. Your jaw dropped at his words and Jimin chuckled. The audacity of this little human. Mishi baby, you are my only good girl. Let's go, I'll give you candies to my good girl. You kissed her cheeks and moved towards the kitchen, not forgetting to show your big eyes to your dear son. No, Amma, I want candies too. He got down from Jimin's hold before running behind you. Mishi laughed loudly at her brother while others also chuckled at his cuteness. Sana also followed you behind. Now only Jimin and Taeyong left in the living room. Jimin looking at Taeyong more like glaring at him. Feeling his eyes on him, Taeyong sat on the couch looking everywhere but Jimin, whistling. Jimin sat across him and crossed his arms on his chest. So you knew about everything. Taeyong looked around before pointing at himself like, are you talking to me? Jimin scoffed and said, just drop the act already. Taeyong sighed and sat comfortably before saying, yes, I knew about everything. In fact, I was the one who brought them here. You didn't feel the need to tell me about it, not even about Ryan's pregnancy. See, Jimin, before you make any assumption, let me clear myself. Just like you, Ryan is also my best friend. As much as I wanted your happiness, I wanted her happiness too. I don't want her to suffer. I had to do that to ensure her happiness. So you plan to never tell me about them? I'm going to tell you anyways, as now I am assured that you are recovered fully and can take care of your family, especially Ryan at this condition. I I can never get back at you for this Taeyong. Thank you so much. Yeah, whatever. He said, rolling his eyes at him. Hey, now you are being mean. Mean and me? You are going to be father again and a so called thank you, that's it. What do you want then? Let me think. I want many things. I'll make a list and then give it to you. Buy me all of that. He said, showing his boxy smile. See what I do when you will be a father again. Do you think I'll be stopping at another one? No, man. I have a goal of 5, so 4 more to go. Both of the best friends laughed at their silliness. And here I'll end this fiction. You are strictly advised to come out of your imagination and go to study. It is exam season after all. I'm really sorry if it didn't turn out as you expected. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section.